Hello, Leadership University. My name is Flynn. I work in the Office of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving. I work as an assistant director in that office, managing the Student Alumni Council, as well as our social media accounts, some communication planning. I've also done a few other things on campus. I was an orientation leader. I've worked in the Office of Admissions. I was a tour guide. I teach public speaking. I advise a fraternity, lots of different things that I've done on campus. I'm also a two-time grad of NKU, so I got my undergraduate degree in communication and my master's in communication as well. So I've done a lot at NKU, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the language of leadership. And I think that language in itself is extremely important when it comes to leadership. It kind of goes hand in hand. Communication is obviously something that I'm passionate about. That's what I have 2 degrees in. I teach public speaking. I do communication planning for a living. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I think that it goes hand in hand with leadership. And you kind of have to understand and be good at communication to be a good leader. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to keep kind of going back and forth, sharing my screen and unsharing my screen, because I want you to visualize a few things. But the first, I want to define what communication is. So communication, basically, and this is my favorite definition that I've come across, and it's by a professor at NKU, is the symbol-centered management of meaning. It's a definition by Mark Lehman. So I'm going to break that down a little bit, because language in itself is those symbols that we use to communicate. So let's talk about symbols. Symbols can be anything. Symbols can be nonverbal communication. It can be verbal communication, written communication. What I am using right now, my voice, that is a symbol to communicate with you. If I were to write something down, that is a symbol to communicate with. And it's all about managing some sort of meaning. I am trying to get my point across to you in an effective way. I'm hoping that you are taking in what I am saying and getting from it what I want you to get from it. And that's all about communication. So getting your point across and sharing meaning between people. And so I have a little picture here. It's about the communication process. And I just want to briefly touch on this. This is not a communication class, but it goes from the sender, as you see right there, the sender, all the way up to the receiver. And there's noise that goes around it. And there's encoding of messages. And then the person decodes the message and kind of makes sense of it. And so to be an effective leader, you must be able to navigate through that noise, to navigate through and encode your message in a way that it actually is effective. So as we're going through this presentation, I am going to be talking about communication a lot and ways that you can become a better communicator as we go through this. So let's talk a little bit more about language, those symbols that we use to actually get our point across. First off, I want to talk about how language is arbitrary. What arbitrary means that it's defined as something that is determined by judgment or whim and not specifically reasons or rules. Language is arbitrary. We can make anything mean anything. We have changed the definitions of words throughout history. We have a set of rules. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines certain words as certain things. But really, we can make words mean anything and make symbols mean anything. When I hold my thumb up like this, you probably know what I'm talking about. When I put my middle finger up like this, you probably also know what I'm talking about. But we come up with these rules that we all kind of follow. But it can be very powerful. Language can be very powerful and kind of really hold dear to your heart, what's happening. So I actually want to do a little activity. This is going to be a little awkward since, you're watching this after I've recorded it. So I'm going to give you a little instruction. Feel free to pause the video at that point, and then we'll go forward. So I want you to go get a piece of paper, and I want you to write the word mom on it, or whatever you call your mother, mom, mommy, however you want to say it. If you call her by her own name, that's fine too. So I want you to write the word mom on it. I've written mom on my pieces of paper. So once you've done that, I want you to take a look at this piece of paper with that word on. Really take in what that means to you. What that word means to you is something else than what it means to me. Language is arbitrary like that. Words can mean certain things to an individual that don't mean that to another individual. So I want you to really take into what that word means, kind of get caught up in the emotion of what that means to you. And then I want you to take up your paper, crumble it up, and then throw it. That was probably sort of difficult for you to do because you're thinking about all of that, what it entails, what that word means to you, the emotions of what you are feeling when you look at that word. And that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make. Language can really affect us. Language can cause emotions that you might not have thought. What literally just happened? I asked you to go get a piece of paper, write some ink on it, and then look at it. That's literally what happened. However, because of the arbitrary nature of language, because it can mean something to you, that's really powerful. I actually do that in my public speaking class. I actually had a student one time. I usually do it 3 times, mother, father, and then best friend. There was a girl in my class that as soon as I said, crumple up the piece of paper that says your father's name on it, she just went to town. She just crumpled it up and just ripped it all up to pieces. And I was like, okay, let's unpack something here. And she was like, I hate my dad. And I was like, okay, that is a lot different than what I had experienced. Another student in another semester could not physically crumple up that piece of paper. His mother had just passed away a couple months prior to taking my class. And so he was looking at this piece of paper, tearing up, and he physically could not make himself crumple up that piece of paper. When you literally break it down, it's a piece of paper with ink on it, but it can mean so much more because language really does have that effect on us. And I want you to think about that when you're thinking about your own leadership. And so I have a few tips to going into leadership. The first is ethos or credibility. I want you to be competent, and I want you to have good character when you're leading through your words and through your language. This is probably going to date whenever I am recording this video, but Tom Brenneman, he used his words and he showed that his character wasn't as other people had thought because of using a homophobic slur. And to be an effective leader, which he was trying to be, he leads people through his communication on television or on radio. He showed that he did not have as good of character as many people thought. So to be an effective leader, you must have good character, and you must demonstrate that good character at all times. You have to be good at what you do. You can try to trick people into thinking you're good at what you do. It's not going to work. So you have to be competent when coming into a communication. You also have to be logical, and you have to use facts to support your ideas. Be logical, have research, support facts. That's really what is a good leader, is taking the facts and making judgments based on that, instead of making judgments based on opinions or beliefs or feelings. You make judgment on facts, and that's extremely important. And then lastly is pathos or emotion. You have to make people feel something. You have to make people feel strong emotions, strong positive emotions as well, so that you can get your point across effectively and you can lead them in a way that's effective. I have been in multiple organizations, and I have gone through multiple leaders and presidents and organizations, and it's the people that can lead with emotion as well as facts and credibility that really get the job done. You have to marry all of those three together. I have had presidents and organizations that were, extremely competent, had great character, also used facts constantly that help shape their decisions, but they couldn't lead an effective manner because they could not make people feel emotions, feel positive. They weren't inspiring. So they had two of the steps, but not the third. And I've also been in organizations where the president really could rally the troops, make people feel really strong emotions and really, inspire them. But their credibility wasn't good. They weren't good at what they were doing. Their character wasn't great. They were maybe even stealing from the organization. They were also not using facts. They were just kind of going off emotion, and that's it. And that's also not an effective leader. You have to marry all three of these to become that real effective leader. And you have to demonstrate that through your words and actions. And I actually have some examples here of some good as well as some bad. So first, I'm going to start off with the good, making people feel good emotions throughout.
Will you fight? We will run, and we will live.
Shame on you. This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst.
And I guarantee you, we won't go by in your life. You won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of it.
Well, I'm not going home.
You've got too far!
And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause.
A day may come when the courage of man fails, but it is not this day.
The lion's been trouble here. This far, no farther.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before.
But that's fine, we'll just get tougher with it.
A person grits his teeth and shows real determination.
Failure is not an option.
That's how winning is done.
Believe me when I say
We can break this army here.
And win just one for the giver.
But I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time,
You've got to get mad.
I mean plumb mad dog mean.
if you would be free men, then you must fight to fulfill that promise. Let us cut out their living guts 1 inch at a time.
And they will know what we can do!
And forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
Like a big bear, man.
This is your time. Seize the day. Never surrender. Victory or death.
Touch the shotgun.
Who's with me?
Clap! Clap! Don't let him die! Clap!
All right, let's fly.
And gentlemen in England, now I beg.
Oh no, my name is the Lord. When I tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Independence Day.
So that was an example of really good emotions. So you have to, rally the troops, get them invested in what you're saying, and really inspire them. I have also an example of something that's not so good. You'll see for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Starr County Republican Party Executive Committee, good evening. And thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Bill Davison, and I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Starr County Treasurer on November 10th, November of 2010, excuse me. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I am serving my 13th year of elected service as a Minerva Council member. In terms of education, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology, a bachelor's degree in history, a master's degree in public administration, and a master's degree in communication. In terms of elections across Starr County, I have represented our party twice on the county ballot in both the primary and the general elections. When I ran for Starr County Clerk of Courts in 1996 and Starr County Commissioner in 2000, and I will not apologize for my tone tonight. I have been a Republican in times good, and I have been a Republican in times bad. Albert Einstein issued one of my most favorite quotes in the history of the spoken word, and it is as follows. In the middle of opportunity, excuse me, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. I'm going to repeat that so I have clarity tonight. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. The Starr County Treasurer's Office is a mess. It is in dire need of structure and guidance. And now is the time to seize this opportunity with an aggressive campaign and an even more aggressive campaigner. If nominated tonight, I promise each and every person in this room, I will hit the ground running, come out swinging, and end up winning. Let's send a message tonight to the people of Starr County and to the people of the Starr County Democratic Party. We're tired of business as usual. Drastic times require what? Drastic measures, yes! Who said that? Thank you! Drastic times require drastic measures. We will not tolerate incompetence and irresponsibility any longer.
So clearly he has strong emotions, and he was trying to get that across to his party, but I'm not sure it was exactly effective. So let's just recap a little bit what we've talked about today. So to be an effective leader, you must be able to share meaning with one another effectively. That's extremely important. You have to use language to your advantage. So make sure that you are using language in a way that is good for you and good for the people that you are leading. You must demonstrate good character throughout, not just when the microphones are on, but behind the scenes as well. You must demonstrate good character, and you have to learn what good character means. You have to use factual communication, use logic and facts to help make decisions. You have to make those that you're leading feel strong emotions, strong positive emotions in an effective way. So thank you for listening. I hope that you have a great semester. If you do want to reach out to me and have a conversation, please feel free. You can look up my information on the NKU website. I can also provide it whenever needed. So have a great day.